For more on this, Sina Azodi joins me live now from Washington, D.C. He's an adjunct professor of international affairs at the George Washington University. Professor, thank you so much for being with us on the program. I first want to get your thoughts on Trump's approach to Iran. It's a lot different from what we saw during his first term. What do you think he hopes to achieve?
Well, as you said, he has fundamentally changed. His rhetoric has changed. His approach has changed to some extent. And I think he has realized that withdrawing from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or the JCPOA, which was a working agreement, was not a great idea. Under the JCPOA, Iran's breakout time, which is the amount of time required to produce enough fissile material for one nuclear weapon, was 12 months. As of February 2025 is about 1 week. So Iran has technology that it didn't have back then. So and it has been the U.S. policy that Iran does not get nuclear weapons. So I think he has realized that he also needs a nuclear agreement with Iranians. Otherwise, the Israelis might take action. And this is something that could drag the United States into a war in the Middle East, something that Trump has said repeatedly that he doesn't want to do. So a nuclear agreement would serve his interests and the interests of the United States and Iran.
Right, we heard him say there that he wants to preferably work towards a peace deal. What would a peace deal entail for the United States compared to Iran, and how does Israel play into this equation?
Well, Israel has historically been a spoiler in Iran's negotiations with the United States. That's with the Israelis. But in terms of the agreement, I'm not familiar with the details of any potential agreement. I can only speculate that it could involve sanctions relief for Iran, and in return, Iran would curtail the expansion of its nuclear program. Specifically, it could include the suspension of enriching uranium to 60%. Iran is the only non-nuclear weapon state in the world that enriches uranium to this level, which is very close to 90%, which is a weapons-grade uranium. So these are some of the parameters that I'm thinking. It could also include Iran getting rid of some of its centrifuge machines. But Iran's brightest red line is maintaining a enrichment capacity on its own soil. Without that, I don't think we will see any agreement between the two countries.
It's going to be interesting to hear the reaction from the Supreme Leader and Pezeshkian. Of course, we know that Pezeshkian is a reformist. What kind of a role can we see him take on moving forward in navigating talks with the United States, and of course, to take off some of the economic pressure from the country?
Well, he recently said that while he supported the nuclear talks, but because Khamenei does not support them, he has given up on the idea. But the key point is that he ran in the elections of last July with the promise to lift the sanctions and improve the Iranian economy, as you mentioned. But without lifting the sanctions, he cannot do that. And another 4 years of maximum pressure campaign with the U.S. trying to cut off Iran's oil exports or other sanctions on the Iranian economy, I don't think the situation in Iran will be sustainable. So Iran is in need of, desperate need rather, of sanctions relief. I think this is something that Khamenei, the Supreme Leader, knows. Whether he would respond positively to Trump's letter would determine how things will work out. And that response would depend on the content of that letter, what Donald Trump has proposed, and the language that Donald Trump has used in the letter.
All right, Professor Sina Azodi, thank you so much for being with us here on TRT World and sharing that insight with us.